rich. News of Strzok's removal comes on the day DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz testified in front of a House panel and confirmed that his office is in fact investigating whether Strzok's anti-Trump bias had a part in launching the FBI's Russia investigation. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, one of the 8 Republicans demanding the names of other FBI employees mentioned in the IG report, he wants them revealed, and he pressed Horowitz on why Strzok, Page, and another unnamed attorney would go from investigating Hillary Clinton's emails to working on the Russia probe. Watch.
It seems so bizarre that the people you would go and accumulate to prosecute the President of the United States and investigate him would be so intertangled with these fact patterns regarding Hillary Clinton. Does that strike you as odd?
I don't know if it strikes me as odd, other than I know it as to the 3 individuals you mentioned occurred.
Is that usual for someone who's like directly tied to one element of a fact pattern to then migrate over to these other investigations?
That's an excellent point, Congressman. We actually make that here as well, that from a management matter, having done corruption cases, you wouldn't put someone who just investigated an individual on one side to go investigate the other person.
That does seem strange. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz joins me now. Congressman, you obviously had an intense exchange with the Inspector General today, and I'm wondering what you feel will come of that bias investigation that he has admitted is now underway with his office. And it seems tough, although it's clear there was bias in play. How do you prove whether or not it affected the end of one investigation and spurred the beginning of another?
Well, in every instance, Kennedy, we saw protocol violated in both the Hillary Clinton email investigation and then also in the genesis of the Trump-Russia investigation. And it is ludicrous that you had all of the exact same people that paved a yellow brick road for Hillary Clinton all of a sudden ending up on the FBI's Trump-Russia investigation and then recruited by Robert Mueller. So it shows the rotten nature of it. And you're right, it's very difficult to prove that bias resulted in specific decisions. But everywhere we look in the Hillary Clinton investigation and in the Trump-Russia investigation, there was bias everywhere. It was infectious, it was toxic, and I believe it did impact the investigative decisions.
All right, so there are a lot of problems with that Strzok-Page exchange that have not been reconciled. Peter Strzok's lawyer is making the case that this guy is a career FBI agent. He is someone who is dedicated to his country, and his name has been dragged through the mud, and we have to wait for this process to end. Isn't waiting until the end of the Inspector General's report and then reading those conclusions, isn't that sufficient for allowing the process to play out?
It is for me, and it was hard to see a member of the FBI, while investigating Donald Trump, saying such loathsome things about him. But what was far worse was the contempt and the condescending tone that Peter Strzok took towards the American people who voted for Donald Trump. When he was talking about the smell of Trump voters in Walmart, you could just see the contempt dripping off of every word and every text. And it showed that these people were willing to do anything to stop Trump. But Kennedy, today, the new information that we learned was that Rod Rosenstein had that infamous August 8th text where Peter Strzok says, "We'll stop him, we'll stop Trump, he'll never become president." Rosenstein had that text message for a month and never turned it over to Congress. So there's a real rat in the woodpile there. There is no excuse for him not giving that to us.
It's almost like James Comey and other senior officials at the FBI having those hundreds of thousands of emails from Anthony Weiner's laptop that they didn't make that case to Congress until exactly 1 month later. So the FBI clearly has a timing issue. Is the FBI too powerful?
Well, that is the question we have to ask, and you've been a critic of, too much surveillance and too much unchecked power in the government, and frankly, I think that more and more Americans are seeing how right you and Thomas Massie and Justin Amash and other libertarian-leaning conservatives have been on those very issues, but the timing also was spoken to in the report. Strzok specifically wanted to downplay the importance of the Clinton investigation so that he could rapidly spin up the Russia investigation, and Trey Gowdy did a great job pointing pointing out that Strzok had judged the outcome of the Russia-Trump investigation after just one day. He was saying, you know, that they had a way to use that investigation to impair a Trump presidency and a Trump candidacy. That is what we don't want to see in our law enforcement, where they turn from being investigators and prosecutors to being political hacks who are trying to shape public opinion and influence the outcome of elections. That's the purview of the American people, not the FBI.
Well, you know, we're running out of time, but quickly, I know you're one of the people who's been pressing for the names of these other FBI agents to be released, and I tend to agree with you. You know, when we want transparency, these are the kind of things that we're talking about, and you better believe that Lisa Page and Peter Strzok also want those names released, because they have taken the bulk of the heat and all of this in the press, and now the Inspector General is hiding behind the Privacy Act. Do you think that we'll learn those names?
We better, because we cannot live in a world in which unelected people block public access to the name of the principal FBI lawyer on the Russia probe, who was associating himself with the resistance movement. He said, "Viva la resistance," associating himself with that movement while he was investigating Donald Trump. It is outrageous, and it taints the entire investigation.
All right, Matt Gaetz, Congressman, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
During today's